So today I helped pour a concrete porch top, and we used a truck to do it. I'm going to show you what we did before the truck came, and then at the end I'm going to show you what to look for and why we did this stuff a certain way. So here we go. I'm coming to help an old friend contractor. What's going on right now, August 2022, it's hard to get a mason, and it's taken 2 weeks out just to get the concrete truck. So the inner mason couldn't show up, so I'm gonna help him get it in, and we're gonna do a porch and a little part inside the garage. Thing is, when you get on these jobs, you don't know what to expect. So it looks like he got it set up pretty good. It's a porch top. Let's go look at it. So let's look at what's going on. This porch is about 6 feet by 20. It's laid out of concrete block, right? They got the gravel in here. So they didn't have no shingles or anything, so I put sand. Some contractors will put sand because you don't want the concrete touching the block. Because if the porch expands and the concrete expands at different sizes, that's where you're going to get your crack. If concrete floats, you're usually not going to get any cracks at all. What I'm doing is pouring today, and he's putting up the side, so I got my height on that side, and he got it pitched down. So it's all ready to go. So we're waiting for the truck.
Okay, bud, give me a little bit.
We're done with the concrete. Let me go all the red edges first. The edges tend to go high, especially in the front. put our marks in like that. See that? We want it even with the top of the board, at least. Let me talk about the edges. Putting the edges in, concrete is actually moving. When it gets down here, it's a little high. The other thing about concrete is it curls like this. If you ever walked into Walmart and you looked at the concrete you put on the floor, you're going to see it bow up. So on the edges here, I just keep it a little bit down. That's it. Put around my edges. I'm doing this again. This is going to show me if I have any slow spots. So give it a bit. Up here against the doorway. When you're on the doorway, the concrete tends to sink. So you got to make sure that everything is at the right height. You want to bring the juice up. See the juice? I'm going to bring the juice up to make sure that it's going down correctly. Now it's not too long after, so I'm ready for the finish. Today's a hot day, and we ain't fooling around. So, I'm working on my finish already, a swirl finish. I like swirl finish. That's it. All I'm doing. That's it. I'm done with this. So that's it. My porch pour is all done. I started here and I went that way and finished the whole thing. I'm going to talk about this job a little bit. I got called up on that job as a cement finisher. So I didn't build a porch, but it's built basically the same way. You just pour your footers, you come up with your block, and then you got to put your concrete on top. But I'm going to talk about the problems with these porches. Now this is old school and this is what I learned from. When they pour these porches, what happens is if they have the concrete going down to the block and they pour the concrete on top of the block, it's going to stick to the block and this block is going to lift up and you're going to get a crack there. What I always do is I always put a shingle on top. That keeps the concrete from going down there, and then I get the crack under here instead of here. So let me show you a couple porches and I'll explain more. Now here's what I'm talking about. See this crack? It starts there and goes right through. Why is that? Because the concrete is sticking to the top block. Here's another example. You see it? Crack going underneath. And it cracked where the divider is, and it cracked the divider is. But that they could patch that all they want, but that's what's causing that. Now here's another instance where they poured the concrete down to here. So that's where the concrete cracked. You see it over there. Now here's another instance. You see how it's stuck to the concrete and it came up like this? This one didn't stick. Concrete curls. You can see it goes crack all the way through. Now if you looked at those examples, you know what I'm talking about. Now maybe if you're down in California where they got earthquakes, they're going to require you to put rebar all the way through and through the other way, but that's not going to keep it from cracking. That's just going to hold it together. If I don't use a shingle, I put sand down because concrete has to float. If concrete floats, you're rarely, if ever, going to get a crack. When you get a crack is when you pin the concrete and then it's holding onto it, and you pin it on the other side and it's holding onto it. That's when you're going to get your cracks. So you're going to ask me, Mike, what am I going to do if I get that crack? Well, if it isn't like a fancy block or a brick, you're going to have to get a screen and go over the whole thing, and that screen is going to be almost a little bit movable up here. In other words, you put it in like siding where the siding is movable up here, and then you fasten it really good down here. That's usually the cure for something like that. It's a common mistake. A lot of inspectors don't even know about it. And then what I try to do is show you the way I do it and what works around here. California's different, Alaska's different, Hawaii's different, South America's different. It's all different, the way people build things. It's not black and white. So that's the way we do it ever since they started doing concrete, and I work with the old timers. That was one of the first things I learned to do on porches. We poured it, we screed it, and then I went over and I screed it twice. And then always near the door, it's like a little bow down. You got to make sure you fill in around there. Concrete bows. So when you're down at the bottom, I always make sure I go a hair lower because I know that concrete's going to pick up. Now that's the way I was taught to do it, and I still do it to this day. Now in your area, you might want to check with your local contractors and your local inspectors and officials or engineers, whoever you want, and whatever they say to do, well, that's what you do. But that's the way I've been taught, and that's what I'm doing. I'm passing on the old school way of doing things. So thanks for watching. I'm Mike Haduck. Don't forget I got t-shirts, etc. Look in the description box. I'll see you next video.